Do you think the law works the same for everyone? Listen to the sound of someone's confidence crunching in a courtroom. Tuesday morning, New England Municipal Court. Fluorescents buzz, the air conditioner murmurs, and a white placard on cinder block reads, "No food or drink." On the benches, retirees with envelopes, a veteran in a faded cap, a bakery owner clutching a document box like it's rent money come due. The flag stands behind the bench, colors washed by the light. The door swings, and in glides Lina Hart. Light suit, big salad box, iced latte sweating through its sleeve, phone mounted on a selfie stick glowing at chest height. She spears a leaf, chews, steps into the aisle as if it belongs to her. "Ma'am, please put the food away," the bailiff says in the patient register of a man who's said it every day for 20 years. She nods without stopping, takes another bite, the plastic lid squeaking. Ice taps the cup, bright, bell-like against the hum. On the clerk's desk, files move in a steady rhythm. Parking, noise, one-liners. The veteran shifts. The bakery owner, Mrs. Alvarez, leans to her neighbor. "She blocked my loading zone," she whispers. "Veteran's breakfast. Half the trays went cold." Lina takes an open seat near the front, balancing the salad on her knee, thumb dancing on the screen. The bailiff tries again, still courteous. "Courtroom decorum, ma'am." She swallows. "I'm entitled to reasonable accommodation," she says, voice even, eyes never quite landing on a person. The judge's mic clicks. "We'll come to that in a moment," he says, polite as a rulebook. "Clerk, call the next case." Papers rustle. "City v. Hart. Lina." The clerk lifts her gaze. Multiple citations. What looks small isn't. Not one ticket. 3. Photos slide onto the display. Her sedan idling in a loading zone outside the old brick market. Hazard lights blinking under a no-standing sign near a state office. A still frame from a curb camera, phone in hand at the wheel. Lane lines ghosting past. The room recalibrates. Someone inhales through their teeth. The bakery owner's knuckles whiten on the cardboard handle. Then another image. Lina's dashboard during the loading zone stop. Tucked beneath the windshield. A temporary placard stamped with a state seal. Executive Event Placard. The judge's eyebrow ascends a fraction. "Ms. Hart," he says, "where did you obtain a government placard?" She forks another bite, a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. "It was for an event?" The veteran's cap dips. His jaw works once. In the gallery, phone screens darken under the bailiff's look. The sign on the wall might as well be a second flag. The judge studies the printouts, then the room. The salad lid clicks shut under Lina's fingers, but she doesn't move it far. The latte's ice clinks again, small and sharp. "We'll hold the general docket," he says, voice steady. "Ms. Hart's matter will be heard separately." A hush settles, not reverent, attentive. The clerk draws a fresh form. Carbon sheets sigh as they separate. The bailiff steps to one side, square to the aisle. "Ms. Hart," the judge continues, "if you require accommodation for a medical condition, this court will provide it. If you're asking for exceptions to rules everyone else follows, that is a different conversation." He taps the photo with the placard once. "Let's begin with this. Who issued that executive event placard, and on what authority?" "Please set the food aside," the judge says, measured as a metronome. Lina exhales through her nose. "I have hypoglycemic episodes. If I don't eat, I can get sick." A slim glucose sensor sits under clear tape on her upper arm. The room stills. No one wants to be the villain against a medical need. "We can recess," the judge offers. "Private room, water, glucose tabs. We keep them on hand." Her chin lifts a shade. "I'm fine here." Facts surface, not as ammunition, but as context. Lina Hart, high-profile last name she doesn't speak, the court doesn't repeat. Daughter of a sitting governor, public enough that her photos trail charity brunches and shelter fundraisers. She built a social enterprise brand, polished interviews, staged candids, a practiced cadence of compassion. Under the varnish, a pulse that likes control and fears being seen as anything less than composed. The clerk leans toward the bench, voice like tissue paper. Prior citations tied to her plate were voided as a courtesy after calls referencing a state office. No formal basis on file. A temperature shift you can feel. The veteran's jaw sets. Mrs. Alvarez raises a hand. Your Honor, I run Alvarez Bakery on Hawthorne. That loading zone is our morning lifeline. We had a veterans' breakfast that day, Gold Star families, surviving spouses. My delivery came late. We sent people home without their promised trays. She doesn't tremble, and she doesn't perform. She just names the cost. From the aisle, parking enforcement queues up body cam footage. On the screen, the sedan already tucked in the loading zone, an aide hustling to the windshield as the officer approaches, slipping a cardstock pass under the glass, executive event placard, state seal crisp as a threat. The officer's handheld shows the stop reason, private errand to the cafe next door. On the video, Lina looks into her phone camera and says, "It's a governor's event." The judge's brow rises 1 polite millimeter. We hope you enjoy this incredible story. At Caprio Uncovered, we bring you inspiring moments of justice and compassion. Let us know where you're watching from. It's always amazing to see how far these stories reach around the world. Lina's fingers tighten on the salad lid. I attend a lot of charity events, she says. It's easy to confuse. The bailiff clears his throat, not loud, just enough. Eyes return to the bench. The judge keeps his tone even. This court will always accommodate a genuine health requirement, he says, placing a hand beside the exhibits. That's done through a pause or an adjacent room, not by ignoring posted rules during session. He nods to the clerk. Note the availability of accommodation and the offer extended. Lina slides the container a few inches back, but doesn't reach for the offered recess. The sensor on her arm glints. The phone screen dims. We'll separate the medical from the procedural, the judge continues. No one is asking you to jeopardize your health. We are asking for the same decorum everyone else follows. He taps the photo of the dashboard placard, then the clip frozen with the aide's hand mid-slide. Now, let's move off the salad and on to substance. Who provided you with this executive event placard, and under what authorization? The plastic fork stills. The gallery holds its breath, waiting for her answer that will tip the room one way or the other. The question hangs between bench and table. The judge lets it sit, then softens the edge. Before you answer, Ms. Hart, last offer. We can pause for 5 minutes, private room next door, water on the table. No one here wants you unwell. Her fork hovers, then drops to the lid. I'm okay. She keeps the container near, as if conceding nothing proves control. A notation scratches into the record. The clerk logs the offer. The bailiff eases a step back. The room breathes again, waiting. What unravels first is her timing. 2 minutes ago, she emphasized urgency. Now she chats into her phone, off mic, a breezy, "We're fine," that slants through the hush. The judge doesn't comment. He lets the inconsistency write itself in the transcript. A hand rises from the gallery, steady, weathered. The veteran in the faded cap stands without theater. Your Honor, he says, eyes on the bench. Mrs. Alvarez won't ask. I will. That breakfast she mentioned wasn't a party. Widows, parents, they plan a morning like that for weeks to get through 1 hour in public. He doesn't look at Lina. He doesn't have to. The bakery owner nods once, lips pressed thin. The words don't accuse, they weigh. The bailiff's phone buzzes face down. He glances, shows the judge a muted screen. A short clip is already online. The no food or drink sign framed neatly. Lina in profile with her salad. Captions trimmed with the same fonts and hashtags that trail her charity posts. The source account doesn't bear her name, but the Polish is familiar. This court restricts recording, the judge says. Voice even, not raised. All devices off. If that video came from anyone associated with you, Ms. Hart, inform them to remove it. We won't litigate by feed. A small tremor runs through her hand. The fork tings the plastic once. She finally looks, first at the veteran, then at Mrs. Alvarez, then at the white placard on the wall as if seeing it for the first time. The room is suddenly loud with its own quiet. The coil of the AC, the faint creak of a bench plank, the dry turn of a page under the clerk's nail. Medical needs are real, the judge continues, measured. We meet them here. But courtroom rules aren't props. We won't let health be used as cover for something else. He slides the glossy photo of her dashboard toward the edge so everyone can see the embossed seal. Back to the pass. The body cam shows it placed after the officer approached. The handheld log states your stop was for a private visit to a cafe. An aide at the end of the row clears his throat. Judge, I told her to keep a state pass in the car. Cars with seals don't get hassled. Murmurs stir, then die under the bailiff's glance. That, the judge says, calm as a level, is not policy. He squares the stack of exhibits, aligning corners with a thumb. Lina's posture shifts a fraction, a veneer starting to crack where it meets fact. We'll separate health from privilege, inconvenience from harm, and courtesy from exemption, he says. Now, answer the pending question so we can proceed on substance. He taps once, inviting a straight line. Who issued that executive event placard to you and under which authority? The fork is still. The iced cup settles without a clink. All eyes hold on her next sentence, the one that will set the tone for everything that follows. The judge doesn't press. He turns to the side table. Parking supervisor, please. A woman in a municipal polo steps forward with a binder. Temporary executive event placards are limited to pre-approved government functions, she reads. A slide appears on the monitor. Routes, time windows, agency contact. They're not valid for private errands, cafe stops, or personal meetings. She flips to a memo dated last quarter. Use outside authorization is void. A rustle moves through the benches. The printout from the body cam freezes on the screen. The aide's hand sliding the pass under the glass as the officer approaches. The timeline bar at the bottom makes the sequence undeniable. Devices off, the judge repeats, glancing at a phone that glows and goes dark. No posting from this room. If anyone on your team uploaded that earlier clip, Ms. Hart, have them remove it. We won't try cases by caption. He returns to Lina. Accommodation is simple. 5 minutes, private room, water, glucose tabs from our kit. We keep them for exactly this reason. She doesn't reach for the offer. I'm stable. The clerk notes it. Offer made, offer declined. The fork lies quiet. The iced cup sweats a ring on the bench rail and is moved aside by the bailiff without comment. Who issued the pass? The judge asks again. Her aide clears his throat, eyes on his shoes. I told her to keep one in the car, he says, voice small. Vehicles with state seals. Usually no one bothers them. Silence hits in a clean line. That is not how this city works, the judge answers, even. He nods to the supervisor. She points to another page. Placards are numbered, logged by agency. This one traces to the governor's events office. The date aligns with a charity luncheon across town. No authorization exists for Hawthorne Street that morning. Lina's shoulders settle by a fraction, as if the jacket suddenly weighs more than fabric. The veteran watches without triumph. Mrs. Alvarez holds her document box tighter and says nothing. "We will distinguish health from strategy," the judge says. "You'll get the first without question. You will not get the second at everyone else's expense." He slides the cardstock pass into a clear sleeve, seals it with a quiet snap, and hands it to the clerk. Exhibit. Retained. Screens in the gallery stay dark. The only sound is the steady breath of the vent and the faint rasp of the supervisor closing her binder. "We'll come back to penalties," the judge says, gathering the citations into a square stack. "Before that, we address the thing money doesn't touch." He looks down the bench, then back to Lina. "This is about respect, not status." He shifts the papers aside. "Ms. Hart, you're going to hear from the people your choices set back. After that, we will decide what repair looks like. Accommodations are care," the judge says, hands folded. "Privileges are convenience. In this room, we honor the first, not the second." He turns slightly. "Mrs. Alvarez." She stands with the practicality of someone who lifts trays before dawn. "We stage deliveries to the minute," she says. "That morning was for Gold Star families and surviving spouses. My truck circled. Coffee went lukewarm. Some people left hungry. No theatrics, just loss itemized." The judge nods, then separates files into two neat piles. "We'll handle money here," he says, tapping the thinner stack, "and conduct here." He lays out terms that surprise no one for their firmness and everyone for their aim. Fines as scheduled, unless you complete the following. First, written apologies to Mrs. Alvarez and to the parking officer you placed in a bad light. Specific, not vague. Second, 20 hours of community service assisting logistics for veterans' morning events at the Civic Center. Load in, load out, no photo ops. Third, completion of a short orientation through the city on proper use of special placards. A pause. Separately, this court will forward a factual notice to the City Ethics Board regarding the pass. That is not punishment. It is how systems learn. Air moves through the vents like a slow tide. Lina's fingers tighten on the edge of the table. She's pale, not pleading. "I didn't want to look weak," she says at last. "I do have blood sugar dips. But today I made a scene to stay in control." She swallows. That hurt people who were already carrying enough. The veteran in the cap lifts his chin. "Weakness isn't asking for a recess," he says. "Weakness is pretending rules are for someone else." The judge writes a line that will outlive the morning. "I'm not sanctioning you for violations," he says quietly. "I'm sanctioning indifference. Signs bend. People break." Silence holds, not hostile, attentive. The clerk records each condition, the scratch of her pen steady as a clock. The bailiff's posture softens by a degree. "The court's order will reflect these terms," the judge concludes. "Meet them, and a portion of the fines will be suspended. Ignore them, and the schedule stands." He glances to the clerk. A review date is penciled, carbon copies split with a dry whisper. The bailiff steps forward with a manila folder, addresses, hours, a checklist for community service, a template for apology letters that leaves no room for "if anyone was offended." Lina accepts it without looking at the camera she no longer holds. "Next case," the judge says, but no one moves at once. The room seems to exhale together. The small sound of a bench easing, the faint rattle of a vent. while the lesson settles where orders cannot reach. The clerk closes the file with a clean thwop. What remains is simple. Show up early. Lift the heavy end. Write the truth. Learn the rule you tried to bend. Then come back and prove it. She returns on a clear morning without the salad box or the stick of a camera. Hands free, jacket plain. The clerk calls the matter. Files are already stacked. Status, the judge says. Lina sets a thin packet on the table, edges square. The clerk reads into the record. Completion of 20 community service hours, pre-dawn load-ins at the Civic Center for veterans' breakfasts, sign-in sheets attached, attendance certificate from the city's orientation on special placards, 2 letters, one to Mrs. Alvarez, one to Parking Officer Ng, specific harms named, no hedging. Each page bears a date and a signature. The video posts are down, Lina adds. I didn't ask anyone to share the clip from court. It's been removed. Officer Ng stands, cap tucked under his arm. Acknowledged, he says, steady. Your letter matched what happened. Thanks for showing up early. Most folks don't. A faint ripple moves through the benches. Not applause. Ease. Mrs. Alvarez steps forward with a small paper sack folded twice. Sugar-free shortbread, she says, eyes kind and firm. For you, but not to eat in here. A few smiles break, quick and quiet. The tension thins without a joke landing too hard. The clerk slides a final sheet to the bench. Notice from the ethics board, she reports. They're initiating a review of temporary pass policy for all offices. The judge scans it and nods. Good. This is bigger than one morning. He turns back to Lina. Your compliance is complete. He signs the order. Portion of fines suspended upon proof already filed. Remainder payable today. The pen's tip scratches once, decisive. Ms. Hart, he says, voice even, this court isn't a backdrop or a branding opportunity. It's a place where we practice fairness in small, repeatable ways. You asked us to see your health. We did. We asked you to see your neighbors. You did. Keep doing it when no one's watching. Understood, she answers. No posture, no performance. As people rise, the veteran in the faded cap gives Lina a brief nod, nothing more. She returns it, then turns to Mrs. Alvarez. I'll be at the center Friday, she says. 6 a.m. 5:30, Mrs. Alvarez corrects, smiling. The heavy boxes come first. On her way out, Lina passes the no food or drink sign without flinching. The paper bag stays folded in her hand. In the corridor, carts squeak, doors hush shut. Morning light squares the floor. What lingers isn't triumph or scolding. It's the sense that rules worked, because people did. A pass logged properly. A truck unloaded on time. A widow given coffee while it's still hot. Relief comes in the ordinary. The inspiration is practical. Ask for care the right way. Give it back in kind. And the quiet reflection that follows her down the stairs is simple enough to last. Accommodations belong to everyone. Convenience belongs to no one.